Hey everybody, it's Troy. Hey, listen, bombshell piece of reporting coming out in the New York Times that identifies potentially Justice Alito as the source of the leak around the Hobby Lobby decision in 2014. That decision leaked to a group of evangelical anti-abortion activists before the ruling came out. The Hobby Lobby decision made it possible for family-owned businesses who objected to providing birth control for their employees and made it possible for them to deny birth control. Really just a thorn in the side of Obama's healthcare legislation, the Affordable Care Act, which was trying to mandate that employers provide birth control. The New York Times has received a letter that was sent from Reverend Robert Schneck to Chief Justice John Roberts. Now, Robert Schneck used to be a big-time anti-abortion evangelical activist, big-time in the anti-abortion community. He had an anti-abortion nonprofit where he used donors to mingle with Supreme Court justices. We now know that Supreme Court justices were mingling with anti-abortion activists, with evangelicals. Evangelicals were getting unprecedented access to the conservative members of the court over the past decade or so. This is one of those cases. Reverend Schneck revealing in this letter to Chief Justice Roberts that one of his top donors to his nonprofit, Gail Wright, was dining at the home of Justice Samuel Alito and his wife. Again, part of this ridiculous access that these people got to Supreme Court justices. Gail Wright then revealed to Reverend Schneck that she had some very interesting news about the Hobby Lobby case that would be favorable to Hobby Lobby. Apparently, a day after the dinner with Samuel Alito and his wife, Gail Wright contacted Reverend Schneck by email saying, "Rob, if you want some interesting news, please call, no emails," setting up a contact with Reverend Schneck over the phone where there would be no paper trail over email, whereby she then informed him of their conversation with the Alitos, in which apparently Samuel Alito revealed the outcome of the Hobby Lobby case. Again, this is in 2014. Schneck then preps his network of anti-abortion donors and the groups that he's involved with to prepare for a positive decision. In their mind, a positive decision on the Hobby Lobby case. In other words, that the Supreme Court was going to rule in favor of Hobby Lobby, enabling that company to not provide its employees with contraception as part of their health insurance plan because of religious objections. And then at the last minute, apparently Schneck reported that at the last minute, a few days before the ruling came out, he informed the CEO of Hobby Lobby himself that the ruling would come down in their favor. The CEO of Hobby Lobby was apparently very pleased on this phone call, and then they didn't speak after that. But this is incredibly revealing. It reveals that Justice Alito may have been giving out the outcome of Supreme Court cases to these right-wing evangelical donors before they came out. One can only assume now that Alito is most likely the source of the leak of the Dobbs decision, which was published by Politico months before that decision came out. We all remember the uproar that caused, and the anger really on the right about who the potential leaker could be. They were claiming it may have been a liberal staff member or clerk, somebody angry about the decision. We've always kind of suspected that it may have been one of the conservative judges themselves prepping their evangelical allies for this news. And now with this bombshell reporting from the New York Times that Alito had revealed the results of the Hobby Lobby decision in 2014, it's more than likely now that we have the identity of the leaker, and it would be Justice Samuel Alito for the Dobbs decision. Reverend Schneck has sort of renounced his old evangelical right-wing anti-abortion ways and become something of a whistleblower. He's identified a network of evangelical, what he called stealth evangelicals, who were trying to get access to Supreme Court justices, really influence their decision on some of these more evangelical cases. But this is just revealing a web of corruption among the conservatives on the court and adding to an already incredibly negative public perception of the court. This court is corrupt beyond words. At least, these conservative members, particularly Alito and Clarence Thomas, these people are destroying the image of the institution, the public perception of the institution, which is really all the Supreme Court has in terms of its power. Justice John Roberts talks about that all the time. The only thing the Supreme Court has is the perception by the public that it is an honorable institution, above the fray, above politics. That's how the Supreme Court operates. They have no enforcement ability. Their only ability to get their decisions enforced is by public perception that their decisions have been honorably made and above politics. What this Schneck letter is now revealing is that Justice Alito has no honor. He has no concept of neutrality, of being an impartial jurist, of being an impartial judge, that he very definitely was on the side of some of these right-wing evangelical donors that were mingling with the Supreme Court justices, that he had built a network of friendships with them. They had unprecedented access to him to the point where they were dining. This couple was dining alone in their house with Alito and his wife, and he was giving them information about incredibly top secret information about the ruling, about the Hobby Lobby ruling. And let's be clear, these rulings do not leak. At least we thought they didn't. We always thought that the Supreme Court was a fortress of solitude where no information got out about how the justices were ruling about their deliberations. Apparently, Alito was giving insider information to some of these evangelicals. Knowing now that Alito was most likely the source of the Hobby Lobby leak in 2014, we can only reasonably conclude that he was also the source of the leak of the Dobbs decision earlier this year that was covered by Politico months leading up to the actual report of the decision in June. This is, if true, this is just undeniably a bombshell report, just incredibly damaging news against Samuel Alito. This man should not be on the Supreme Court. There needs to be an investigation of other decisions that were leaked by Alito and potentially Thomas to their network, to their right-wing evangelical network. This could cause permanent damage to the reputation of the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court justices now are no longer above the fray. We are knowing now that they are very political in nature. They are not shy anymore about hiding the fact that they do hold political beliefs, and they are biased, and they are making their rulings based on their evangelical faith rather than on the law. This disqualifies them from service in the Supreme Court. And if these accusations are proven true, these people need to be removed from the Supreme Court. They cannot be serving on this court. We cannot have the rights of millions of Americans lie in the hands of corrupt judges with political agendas that are being influenced by people with political agendas. Just absolutely shocking. More to come on this. From MeidasTouch, this is Troy. Remember, smash that subscribe button to keep supporting independent media.
At MeidasTouch, we are unapologetically pro-democracy, and we demand justice and accountability. That's why we're spreading our message to Convict 45. That's right, gear up right now with your Convict 45 tees and pins at store.meidastouch.com. That's store.meidastouch.com.